Hello everyone and welcome to another Umbraco tutorial. I know it's been a while since I've actually made a tutorial and I'm really sorry about that, but to put it very quickly, I quit my job a couple of months ago. I was unemployed. I have myself a new job now where I have to learn a different CMS system that is not Umbraco, so I haven't been using Umbraco for the last 2 or 3 months, so I've been a bit rusty. A lot of people have been writing to me and asking about the next tutorial and all that. So that of course I'm really happy about. So thanks a lot everyone for that. And yeah, I've also by the way tried to look at my microphone settings, but I don't really think I can boost them that much. I've checked multiple applications that control sound on my computer, and it didn't work. So you guys might have to just turn up your headphones. So I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, I've worked hard the last couple of days to get some content ready for you guys that I could actually show and teach, so we'll try that and see how that goes. One thing that I figured would be a good idea was to teach about custom property editors, so we'll have a look at that. And then also, one thing I'd like to point out, I'll be using a new installation of Umbraco because the old one I think I played a bit too much around with it and it completely just died on me. And also when I tried to upgrade, it died multiple times. So quick notes for everyone: if you do have an Umbraco installation, do try and make sure that you upgrade in steps. If you have, for example, version 7.2, don't just upgrade to 7.34. If you are going to do that, then at least make sure you have a backup of both the database, because upgrades in Umbraco change the database, and also make sure you have a backup of the files, so that if anything goes wrong, you can do a rollback and you'll be fine. And then if one upgrade doesn't work, just try the next one that comes after the current version you have. So if you have version 7.2.1, then try 7.2.2 or 7.2.3 or whatever is the next one. And if that works, then just continue on until you actually make it pass and work. That's how I should have done it, but now I know. But luckily it was nothing serious. So I'm going to set up a quick installation, and yes, I know I have one here, but that is so I can see what code to actually show everyone. So yeah, let's make a new quick version. I'm going to start up. Actually, let's get my SQL Server tools. There we go. Just going to sign in with Windows authentication. There we go. Then I'm going to check our databases. I have a couple of databases here, and I'm going to make a new one. Just going to call it Umbraco Tutorials. There we go. That's it. And then let's install Umbraco here. We'll set it up. New project. Let's say Umbraco Tutorials again. Just make it quick. Web application 4.5, empty, remember that. And there we go, right, okay. Package manager. Install. Package. Sorry about the noise. Umbraco CMS. We'll just let that install, shouldn't take too long. At the moment it's Umbraco version 7.35. I personally can't wait for Umbraco version 7.4 to come out with the new editor that will be in, so we can control all our properties and document types and all that a lot better. So I've already seen how it looks like. You can see it on the Umbraco website. It looks very, very good. Okay, successfully installed Umbraco, but of course still needs to add the dependencies, so we're just going to wait. Should be done in a minute. And right, there we go. Okay, so let's just start it up. Come on, localize. There we go. Okay. Right. Just gonna put in my details here. Password and password will now have to be 1234567 because one of the new rules is that your password has to be at least 8 characters long. Don't want that. Just going to customize it. SQL Server. Of course, we're going to go down here, right click, properties, grab the server name. if I could hit it. There we go. Where do we have it? There we go. So the server, the database name was Umbraco Tutorial. I think it was plural. So let's just see here. Umbraco Tutorials. There we go. And we're going to use the integrated authentication. Super. We're just going to install our starter website for now. I might, if I make more videos about, for example, integrating Bootstrap on Umbraco. I don't know if that is something everyone would want. I've heard some people mentioning it, so I might do it. Also, actually, that reminds me, I did have one person who actually found me on Facebook and friended me. If you guys want to do that, yeah, sure, go ahead, but do realise that if everyone writes to me, I mean, I do want to help, but you know, I have a life, I have a job, a girlfriend to take care of and all that, or not to take care of, but you know what I mean. So of course I'll answer questions as much as I can on mail and Facebook, but and on YouTube as well, but I can't be 10 places at once, remember? Anyway, we now have our website set up, and if we just check it out, I mean, it's just going to be a complete standard website with the Umbraco what's called package installed, and that all looks fine, but we're not really going to worry about that for now. So let's just go back here. So what we're going to do is, if we go to the developer section and go to data types, you'll see we have all these data types, so, you know, like tags, text area, so on, so on, so on. We're going to make our own of these, or one of these, and yeah, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do, which is what tells Umbraco, oh, there's something new here. Oh, sorry, let me just include my files a minute. Always good. There we go. And include. So all plugins or custom stuff like this, like custom code or anything, lives in the app plugins directory. So if you don't have it, you should create it. So we'll have to add a new folder. App plugins. So capital A underscore and capital P is what it says here. App plugins. Enter. There we go. So this is the plugins folder. So the first thing we're going to want to create is the package manifest file. So what we do is here we add a new file. It has to be a file. If you put in a HTML page, or okay, at least definitely like a Razor page, if you give it a name like package.manifest, it will still end with .cshtml. Or if you add a class, then it will always suffix it with a class. So let's create a new item. Oh, I almost jumped there a minute. Add new item. Control Shift A we could also press, and we're just going to add a yeah. See here we have the possibility of .html. So here manifest. There we go, just like this. And now live in the root of our app plugins, and we can delete this and save in a minute. Okay, let me just open my code on my second screen here. There we go. Oh yeah, before we do that, I was a bit wrong here. Sorry, I haven't done this a lot, but I have my code. So what we're going to do first is we're going to name our plugin here, and we're going to make a character limiter. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new folder. We're going to give this a name. We'll call it char limiter. There we go. Preferably with no spaces in the names, just for the sake of, well, yeah, making everything a bit easier when you are going to reference it inside, you know, Umbraco and stuff like that. So anyway, now it's in here. So the first one you can do is this is JSON, so JavaScript Object Notation. And if you don't know that, that's fine, but I would definitely encourage you to learn a bit of JSON because it's a very good thing to know. So anyway, boom, going to start with just open brackets like this, and then we are going to define this thing called a property editor. Like this, exactly like this. Going to put a semicolon, and we're going to jump down, or this is how I like to do it. And we're going to do these square brackets. And I like to indent things. You don't have to do it like this, but that's how I like to do it. Now we're going to give this property an alias, and Yeah, let's just give it an alias. The alias does not have to be the same name as the folder over here, but I would definitely encourage that just to keep everything more or less the same. And it's a string, so char limit there we go. And then we're gonna want a new one, so comma. Then we want a name. There we go. And well, this one can be with a space, so this will be char limit but instead of char, let's call character. I think it's how you spell it. There we go. Comma, and then we want to define the editor. So like this, and with the normal bracket as we know it. And the editor has a view, and this view will be located in, and then we're going to want this tilde sign, which means go to the root, because if we just do like this, then it'll go to, well, probably Umbraco actually, because that's what we're going to be inside the Umbraco folder in the back end, in the back office. So we're going to say tilde / say, which means go to the root. Try again. There we go. And we're going to want to go to app plugins, and then we're going to go to car limiter. There we go. And / and then we can just call in all lowercase char limiter dot editor dot JS. HTML. There we go, because it's our HTML view. Perfect. And yep, that is actually just about it. So we'll just save that for now, and let me just check I didn't forget anything. No, I think that's pretty good. So we can just build it just for good sake. And look at our output, good, nothing wrong. Thing is, if we now go and try and go to Umbraco here for a minute, refresh, what we should now be able to do is go to the developer section. Oh, sorry, had to reload. Right click on the data types and say create, and then there should be one called char limiter, but there isn't. And the reason is, if we open up a minute, every time we either create or delete or edit anything that has to do with a package.manifest file, we'll have to restart the application. And the way to do this, especially on here, is to just touch the web config file. Just make a space, anything that changes it. I like to do like a new line, because one space isn't much, and it's a bit weird, and you can't see it, so you could end up with a whole load of spaces along the line. And although white space isn't a problem here, there's still not anything desired. So let's save it and build it. Don't think you have to build, but I like to build anyway. Okay, now we should be able to open up Umbraco and reload for a second. Just gonna wait for it. It's awfully slow for localhost, if you ask me. Open up, and why is it not here? That is really odd. Let me just try again. Very weird indeed. Let me just make sure I actually did write everything correctly. Okay, property. Yeah, okay. I always make this mistake for some reason. Of course, after we've done the square brackets here, we're going to want to do the normal curly braces again, which will surround this. There we go. Okay, much better. So now we can build it, or we could just wait. There we go. So close, build. Goes through an awful lot down here. Oh, weird. Okay. Anyway, now it should work. And it still doesn't work. Okay, I've done something completely wrong here. Let me just see. So we have the property editor. Okay, it's with an S. God, yeah. As I said, I haven't touched Umbraco in a while, so I'm a bit out of tune with this. So really sorry for that, guys. But hey, you're getting the free stuff. You can't complain, can you? Name. Just gonna make sure everything's okay now before I switch back. View. Yeah, it looks fine. Right, now it's got to work. me just control F5 a minute just to make sure I clear the browser cache as well. Come on. There we go, character limiter, now it's here, so sorry for that. And we just create it and then we can call character limiter. So we can save it and then we can go to the settings, document types, if I could hit it. And let's go to the home node and let's find the let's use the byline here for a minute. So we'll press that and we're going to change it from a text string to the char limiter and just save it. And now because it's used in the home, that means if we go to content, if we press here we're going to get a 404 because it did not find the expected HTML that it was supposed to find. So let's create it. And where are we? We are here, Umbraco tutorials. So in this we're going to create a new HTML page and we're just going to call this char limiter and then we're just going to call it .editor.html because it's our editor, our view. There we go. And this is HTML, but we don't need the document type, we don't need any of that. This is just a HTML page. So let's just start with, and what we're going to want here is a text area, so let's try that for a minute. Boom, text area, and we're just going to give it 10 columns here. Oh, sorry, and there we go. And that is actually just about it. Yep, let's try that. And because we haven't touched the web config file, then we can just go back here. And now, because where I was expecting it before was in, oh, I can't remember, I don't know which one of these it was. It was called byline. Okay, well, we'll reload a minute. And now we didn't get any problems. So here, now we see byline. It's a text area, and we can resize it and all that what we want. But if we try and write something now, boom, save and publish, saves fine. We reload the page, there's nothing in, which isn't really what we want. Yeah, so let's go back a minute. So now we have one thing, but now we need another thing. And the next thing we're going to need is a controller for this. So this is going to be written in, what's it called, AngularJS, which is what Umbraco uses in the back end. So what we're going to do is, and Angular is of course just JavaScript, but it's, well, more than JavaScript. It's something I need to learn as well, but I would definitely encourage everyone to go out and learn AngularJS. Is really useful. So let's just see, JavaScript, there we go. And we'll call this charlimiter.controller. I think that should be enough because it should, okay, it does not suffix it with JS. We'll have to do that ourselves then. There we go. Yep, we know. Okay. So first, let's get with the let's make ourselves a basic structure of Angular. What we're going to do is we're going to start with Angular, and as you can see, I don't have any help from Visual Studio to do this, so it's all muscle memory or the text I have on the other screen. So Angular.module, and the module we want to attach ourselves to is the Umbraco module. And then we're going to want to reference a controller. Just open close it. Right, and the controller we want to reference is not the controller we're in already. We want to give a specific name to the controller, and the best way to name this, you could name it ABC123 and that would work, but that isn't really much, that doesn't say much about this controller. So let's call it char, oh, there we go, char limiter. If I could write, come on, char limiter, there we go. And that's because that's the name of the project. As you see, that's the exact name of our folder over here. So char limiter dot, and then again char limiter controller, because this is our controller. Okay, we're going to do that, and then comma, and we're going to do a function, and open close, and then we're going to want to do, of course, the curly braces, close curly braces, sorry, and then the semicolon. There we go. This is our basic structure for AngularJS. Boom. Now we're going to want to build on top of this. So let's do two things. First, we're going to want to pull in the scope, and that is, well, everything that we have access to right now. Like, for example, you have the scope of a for loop in .NET. You know, if you do a for loop or an if, let's do a basic if. So, for example, here this is the scope. So if true. So if something is true, which true is, then we're going to want to make a variable called scope is equal to 1. Now this variable is only accessible through this, inside this if sentence. If we wanted to use it, then we could pull it out of here, put it here, var scope is equal to 1, and then in here we can reference scope. And say if true, then set scope equal to 2, and then else scope is equal to, I don't know, 3. This is scoping in programming. So if you've heard of it but wondered what the hell that was, well then that's it. So all that we have access to is going to become available to us, so we're going to include that, and then for testers we're just going to make ourselves a little alert and pass in hello world, for example. That's always the generic message. Just build that. And of course, right now it's not going to work because we need to reference this controller here. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy that. There we go. Just copy the whole thing. Then we're going to want to go into our HTML file, and around this we're going to want to make a div. So complete empty div for now. div. My computer's a bit slow at the moment. There we go. So here on this div we're going to want to reference the thing called ng-controller, and here we're going to want to specify the controller that we put, and this will make sure that when this editor.html file is called, then it will check for a controller called carlimiter.carlimiterController. That sounds perfect. So let's try it. Will it work? It won't. And the reason for that is, and I'm doing this on purpose, of course, and that is to, when you guys learn this, to think, oh yeah, I need to remember to do that, instead of me just doing it and you just following along. I'm saying what your minds should be thinking. So let's go over here, and we're going to want to have to include this in our package.manifest file. So over here, after the property editors, we can do a comma. And then we're going to say we want JavaScript, and this is where we're going to reference all our JavaScript files and say, you know, this is Java. All these JavaScript files, they are here. So we're just going to go like that, and this lives, of course, in tilde/app_plugins, and then /char limiter. Go, and then again /charlimiter.controller.js. This is where it lives right now. This one. If not, you can always click on it and then just grab the, okay, not the full path, but the close to the full path from here anyway, with the tilde sign on it. Let's just save it and edit the web.config and build it just to make sure. And right now we've referenced it, so if we reload it a minute, just gonna wait, we should get hello world, as we do. Right, so we're inside. So what we do now is, now we want to have a, now we want to have a little fun with this and make sure it works. So let's just delete that a minute. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is, we looked before how when we put some text into here and saved it, that worked fine, but when we reload, oh yeah, and by the way, you saw me, as far as I remember, let me just see, yeah, I deleted the hello world, but it's still popping up, and the reason for that is browser caching. And I downloaded a little program here called, okay, I can't remember, but it clears cache in a way, but even though I do that, and Control F5, it still doesn't work, and this took me a bit of time. I did actually want to make this video yesterday, but I couldn't, because I was having, for example, this problem. So the way I found out was, where if I want this to work, what I can do is I can go into my Umbraco project, and I can go to the app data, and I can delete the cache folder. Just boom, delete it, gone. Now, I'm thinking, if we go back and reload, there will be no cache. Okay, it still does come up. Let me just reload again. Okay. What we can also do, because I still haven't completely identified the problem, but I do know how to completely turn it off. There are a couple of things we do want to do though. One is to go to the config folder and go to Umbraco settings.config, and then just scroll down until we see the cache here. We want to put in a 0 to disable the cache. Just rebuild, and then as a last thing, we just reload here. There is this temp folder, and there's plugin cache, for example. Let's try and delete that first. Plugin cache, okay, and also disk cache. If we delete those, we should be fine. Okay, hello world, right, okay, then the next thing I did was I just deleted the whole temporary folder. So just check nothing's come back. Superb, let's try again. So, reload, and there we go, now there's nothing here. Okay, so as I said, we can try, save and publish, reload, nothing. To fix this, we open up, we go to the editor, and here, you know, it's what's being entered in this text box that we want to save, not the whole div, but just this text box. And for that, we'd use ng-model, and then we want to save this model dot value. We want to save the value that's stored. So if we try and build that a minute, go, jump back. Let's just reload the page to make sure everything is reloaded and all. And boom, we suddenly get some text. And the text we get right now is the text that was already in here, because before the tagline was just one of these. But now, of course, we just get, well, more text. So I can put in some text, save it, I can reload the page, and it's still there. Perfect, so now that works. Superb. Right, now we want to do a bit more here. So let's go back to Visual Studio. Okay, let's see, what is the next thing we want to do? Right, the next thing is now we just have a working text field. Wow, let's have it actually do something. So we're going to open up our controller here, and then first we're going to do our scope here, and then we're going to say dot, and then we're going to say limit chars, just to have our short function name, and we're going to put that equal to a function. Open close. Oh, sorry, for some reason, by the way, if you do this and then like this, as far as I know, this won't work. I had some problems with that, so just keep it up here. I know it's not particularly nice for some people. I don't like putting my brackets like that anyway, but you'll have to do it. So like that, and then we're going to have to declare a variable, and we're going to call it limit. This will be the limit for how many characters you can type. Let's just put it to 50 for now, and then just, well, that's it really. Boom. So the next thing we're going to want to do, sorry, oops, that's the problem, equals, there we go. And we're going to say if the, and here we have to say scope dot model dot value, not module, model, oh, that's a Danish character, model dot value, that is what is in the text box, we just saw that before, model dot value, and then the length. So we grab the length of it, and we say if that is greater, sorry, than the limit, then we want to do what's called substringing. So we're going to say that, scope dot model dot value is equal to, and then again scope, and you could for if you wanted to put scope into a variable, but it's a good idea to leave it there so everyone knows, okay, this is what is being referenced, instead of you calling scope, A, for example. So again, scope.model.value is equal to scope.model.value, and then we're going to want to substring it. Sub str for substring. And right now I don't have any indication as to what this function does, but what it does is it takes two parameters The first parameter is when the text starts. You know, is it at the 0th character, you know, before the first character, or is it at the 5th character or anything? But at this, for us, we wanted to say 0. We want to start at the very beginning, and then we're going to do a comma, and then the next parameter is the, you know, where do we want to stop. So we're going to want to cut it off at some point to see, nope, no more. And the thing is, if we didn't have this if sentence, we just said, you know, from 0 to 2000. If there weren't 2000 characters, this would fail. So that's why we have the if. But we're going to pass in the limit. So only if what we put in the text box is greater than 50, then we want a substring from 0 to 50. So this is fine. And we're just going to leave that there for now. Boom. And then to get that to work, we're just going to go in here, and then we're going to, and see, this is why, one of the reasons why AngularJS is so nice. Just going to do ng-change and set it equal to limit chars, which I think is what we called it. I'll just see a minute. Yep, limit chars. Just get all of it, there we go, and open, close, save and build. And I have an idea that this still won't work because now we have our temp folder back. So let's just delete that to make sure we don't have any unnecessary cache. God, my computer's slow today. Come on, delete. Okay, never mind. Open up and reload. And we'll try typing in some text, and right now I'm trying to type all I can, but I'm not typing anything more. It just won't let me type anything more at all. So we can type, we can keep on trying, doesn't work. That's also why I got that fine error message. So let's just save it at that. But that's not really good. Ah, okay, it's really slow. Right, there we go. I think. Never mind. So that's fine and all, but what about some, you know, message? Oh, by the way, you have that many characters left, or, you know, you can't write anything more. Okay, it's being used by another process apparently. We'll probably get more of those. Anyway, let's just put in our paragraph, like this. And then here, we're going to use the Angular directive called ng-bind. And we're going to set that into equal to, let's just call it info. Okay. Just go back to our controller, and then here we're going to say okay, so scope dot info, so that's what we called it, is equal to you cannot write more than, and then of course a space, plus, and then our limit, there we go, a plus again, and then characters. So if you just take a quick second to read this, you will see that this text will come up only if we surpass what we're allowed to, you know, the amount of characters that we're allowed to write. So let's just try that. Compile and go back here and refresh. Let's see if it works. And indeed it does. Boom. You cannot write more than 50 characters. Of course this isn't very smart because people will just be writing away and then suddenly they will reach 50 characters and oh, stop, you cannot write more than 50 characters. So we'll have to put in every, you know, all the time. So we're going to go back to our tutorial here and we're going to do a else section here for a second. And then we're going to just put in the scope.info and then so, well, basically what we're going to say is, well, if when they reach 50 you cannot write more than the amount of characters they have left, the only logical message we could write here is you have, and then limit characters left. So we can write you have, then plus limit plus characters left. Just like that. Build it. And remember, this is on the ng-bind, so of course, as you might have thought, when I reload, There is no message, only when this one changes, and that could be like this, you know, when I write. See, now we have some fine caching. So let's just reload. Let's see if we're allowed to delete it now, or if some process is using it. It's probably being used. That's annoying. Okay, we can delete that. Not that one. And not that one either. What if we include it in the project and then try and delete it? Don't know. Something's using the process apparently. That's a bit weird. Let's just try and reload and see if it might have worked. Apparently my computer's acting up a bit. Don't know how much room I have left. I should have loads of room. Oh, looks like Visual Studio might have crashed a bit. Yeah. Sorry about that, headphone users. Right, there we go, now it works. So let's just start this up again. So I'm really sorry if you're sitting with a pair of headphones on, really trying to listen to what I say, and, you know, just suddenly, beam, you're being beeped in the face. Anyway, so backspace, and then, oh, you have 50 characters left. And of course, right now, this isn't updating as it should. Let me just see why that is. Probably something very, of course. Why didn't I should have thought of that. That's a mistake. Of course, right now we're just writing you have 50 characters left all the time. What we want to do is we want to do a little bit of math. So we're just going to put this in bracket in parentheses. So we're going to take our limit and minus that with the scope.model.value, then the length of it. So if the length of what we have is 25, for example, and we say, well, there is 50 allowed, so 50 minus 25 would be 25, which adds up. Let's try again. So, reload the page, go back, and I think caching has taken over again. Indeed it has, so sorry headphone users. And of course it won't work now, that is annoying. This has not really been a problem before. Yep, we know. Don't know what. Disk cache, plugin cache, examine indexes. Okay, really sorry. Now it works. This hopefully should be one of the last times we do that. Reload. We're going to go back, and now it counts it as it should. And we're done. We can't, you cannot write more than, you have 0 characters left, and if we try, then, oh, you cannot write more than 50 characters. So that works perfectly. Just, Umbraco. There we go. Okay, so that works perfectly. Now, the last thing I'd like to add to this, to just make it really good, is that we can add some value to this, because, you know, if we were to put this in a solution for a customer, which is what Umbraco is all about, then the big problem here would be, well, you know, where can I change this? Where can I change the number? And you can't say to them in the code. They won't know what the hell to do. They won't even know what they usually don't even know what ASP.NET is. So what you want to do is, and now we're going to have to open up our, what's it called, package manifest file. Just find it. There we go. And what we're going to do now is, after the editor, we're going to do a comma, and then we're going to add pre-values to this. Just going to open it like that, and then we're going to add the one called fields. I know this is beginning to be a bit weird, but just try and follow along. And right, so for that we're going to want the curly braces, and now, while I remember it, we're going to want the normal curly brackets, so square brackets and curly brackets. There we go. And then now this needs some information. The first one will be a label. That's just going to be a normal string, which will be number of characters. There we go. That will be a comma. We'll give this a description, and that will be the number of characters left to use, for example, I don't know, something like that. And the key here, key will be limit, and then the final one would be the view, which is going to be number. Okay, perfect. And now the next thing we're going to want to do is, let me just check this a minute. That looks all good. Yeah. Okay, so let's just refresh our web config file. Okay, I think let me just close that a minute. So if we go into our developer section now, data types, and where are you? Character limiter. You can see now here that we have this number of characters. And a quick thing to note, because you're probably thinking, what the hell was this thing you were talking about? Just find it. Package manifest. This view thing called number. Well, the thing is, the view we want to have is this here. This is the view. And Umbraco has some some standard ones already built in. You can actually find them inside here, but I can't remember where right now. But you can find them. But if you want to, you can also add your own. But then you have to define stuff like, add plugins and all that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to use the standard one for number at the moment, and the key will be limit, and this key will be used in a second. So now let's just put that to 250. We'll save it. And where is the controller? There we go. So instead of limiting it to 50, we're going to go to the scope, then .model.config, and then now our key, which is going to be limit. So that should be that. I think that will work. Let me just go back a minute. And where are you? Well, that'll be, of course, content in here. Let's just start typing. Okay, so it looks like the cache hasn't been. So so you know what that means. Just reload a minute. So cache and temp, just include them. Now we should be able to delete them. Okay, try again. Okay, this is really weird. Okay, for some reason I'm not allowed to delete that, but anyway, this should work. I'll have to delete those loud system noises soon. And now suddenly, boom, it's 200 characters. So that is just great, and you can do loads of different things with this. And a quick thing here, what you can do is, you're probably thinking, how the hell do I find all this information? What you can do is you can go to GitHub, I think it is, GitHub Umbraco, and then just Bell. That's the version name of Umbraco 7. Just click that here, and we'll go to github.com/umbraco/bell, and I do believe there is a place to have a look at all the what's it called? Is there? No, this is not here. Where is it? Where did they put it? Let's just try and go back a minute. There should be a Bell API. I think that's the one we're looking for. There we go. API documentation. And here is all the stuff we need. There's a member resource. This is all the stuff for Angular. Umbraco 7 UI, codename Bell, built on AngularJS, LazyLoad.js, and Twitter Bootstrap. So this is exactly what you'll be needing. and you'll be able to check out all the things that that are here. There's the dashboard resource, you know, get dashboard. We can get a section and stuff like that. I've played around with, I think it was the user resource, current user resource, where you can get the current user, but it also says here what you can use and what it does, and all different all different kinds of stuff. So that is yeah. So I hope this taught everyone just something, and also here there's some tutorials you can go through. Yeah, the manifest overview, for example, where it explains a bit about that, or quite a bit. Tag support, custom tree, which is what I'm going to be explaining in the next video. This took me a long time to do, so I can't wait to teach you guys. It's going to be really good. So again, sorry for the long delay, but finally here's a video. I'll be making another one tomorrow, and hope you guys enjoy this and have a good evening. Thank you, and yeah, good luck.